In this video, I'm going to share with you the faxing service that my law firm uses every single day. And then we're going to dive in the computer at some point and I'll show you exactly why this service is so great. So without further ado, let's dive into this video and get into the fax. Nailed it. Oh my goodness. I had made this entire video just to make that one single pun, just for this moment right there. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Dad puns aside, the faxing service that my law firm uses on a regular basis is called HumbleFax. This is a virtual fax service, which means that all you need is internet access. You do not need a fax machine. Quick moment for disclosure. Because I've been enjoying HumbleFax so much, which I should probably say is I've been enjoying it as much as somebody can enjoy sending and receiving a fax. I'm not a psycho. But because I've been so happy with the service, I should say, I reached out to HumbleFax and LawVenture is now an affiliate. So if you're interested in becoming a HumbleFax customer, go down in the description, click the LawVenture link, and if you do become a customer, then LawVenture will receive a small commission at no extra cost to you. Which means that with that small commission, we can help put that money towards our wonderful video editor, Victor, in order for him to keep making these fantastic videos. So to explain why I'm using HumbleFax, I need to provide some context here. During the first 3 years or so of going solo, I was using Unitel Voice for my business phone and faxing needs. And I truly believe that Unitel Voice is going to be probably the best option for the lawyer that just went solo and wants to keep their expenses at the bare minimum. You can get by with Unitel Voice because it basically has the bare necessities for you. If you're curious on the pros and cons of Unitel Voice, I'll slide a link above so you can check it out. But as my law firm was growing, I started realizing that Unitel Voice's limitations were just giving me more and more headaches. So currently, at this point right now, the service that I use for the business phone is Google Voice, and the faxing service is obviously HumbleFax. Now, I don't know when this video is going to come out compared to when the Google Voice video review is going to come out. But if the Google Voice review is out already, whenever you're watching this, if you're in the future, well, of course you're in the future because obviously this has to be edited and then it's going to be posted, which just makes it in the future. But rant aside, once the Google Voice video is ready, I'll slide a link above so you can check it out. But because we're talking about fax services in this particular video, let's talk about the pros and the cons of HumbleFax. And I'm going to be honest with you, there are a lot of pros and there are very little cons. But to talk and dive deep into this topic, we gotta also dive into the computer so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so we are now on HumbleFax's website, and this has everything you're gonna need in order to get comfortable with this particular service and what they're all about. Let's just start with the header here, because this is probably gonna be the most important. Everyone wants to know, how much is it gonna cost? Unlimited faxing, $10 per month. That's a great deal. If you're considering other faxing services, I recommend taking a look at whether or not they have a page limit. I kept looking at different competitors to HumbleFax before I actually found HumbleFax, and every one of those competitors had some form of a page limit where once the page limit was hit, there was an additional charge for every page beyond that limit. And not every service put it front and center on their homepage. I had to maybe dive through the FAQs or go through like additional buttons and tabs in order to find that fine print detail. This is something that HumbleFax is definitely going to stand out from the competition with, and they rightfully so are putting it front and center for everyone to know. I will also say this on the page limit front. I try not to fax if I don't have to. I try to email as much as I can. And so whether or not the page limit was going to become a thing or an issue with different services, I don't know. But there are times and situations where with my more severe medical cases where I'm putting together a demand package, or as Nick Rowley would say, a settlement opportunity letter where I'm attaching a bunch of medical records. And if there's like a surgery involved, then there could be hundreds and hundreds of pages. And I just didn't want to have to stress about those specific situations of there being additional surcharges on top of what I was already paying per month. Because there's no page limit with HumbleFax, that's just peace of mind that I really, really appreciated when seeing this service. But the caveat is, at some point, I don't know if this is still the case with HumbleFax, this is going to be maybe something to try out. I had that situation where I had a massive demand package that I was faxing over to an insurance company, and I ended up getting an alert from HumbleFax whenever I tried to send it, saying that it reached the page limit, which I was a little upset in that situation because I was like, wait, I hit a page limit, but I thought there were no monthly page limits. And so I reached out to customer service, and within a very short amount of time, they're like, okay, how many pages is your demand package in order to be able to send it, or what kind of additional authority on the limit do you need? So I gave them the number of what I typically would say is my max on a demand package. They said, okay, you're approved for that, go ahead and send it. And I sent it, no issues. And I haven't had any issues since that popped up. So if you have a massive demand package with all those records and you have HumbleFax and you find yourself in that situation, just reach out to technical support. They have a contact button, and then you can talk to them about getting that fixed and getting some additional authority on your limit. Just a quick caveat on my experience specifically. Okay, so includes dedicated local fax number. I didn't have my own local fax number or dedicated fax number transitioning from Unitel to HumbleFax, because with Unitel, it was all the same thing. My business phone number was the same as my fax number and vice versa. And so I decided, because of my Google Voice and HumbleFax stack, that I was just going to go ahead and get a separate fax number. Even though it was convenient to say just fax the same number you're calling, I ended up just deciding, okay, whatever, let's just have two separate fax numbers. And because I am a virtual law firm, I decided, because most of my client base is in Austin, my virtual law firm's office number is area code for Austin, but because I'm physically located in Dallas, I have an area code that's a Dallas area code for the fax. So I include that on my signature blocks whenever I'm emailing people, or I also have it on the signature block for my my letterhead. And so I don't know if psychologically it's like, oh, okay, he has an Austin and Dallas, connections, or if people even notice that. But if you have a virtual law firm and you are getting clients from different cities, that may be something to consider, or may have no benefit whatsoever. I have no data on that, just food for thought there. And again, no fax machine required. That's a relief. I'm all about saving space. So you can fax with email, you can fax from your PC or Mac, and you can also fax from your phone. I haven't faxed with email because I haven't needed to. Faxing from my Mac has been so easy that I just don't want to mess with success. And I didn't even know I could fax from my phone. I didn't know they had an app until I was prepping for this video. And I just don't have any need to fax from an app or from my phone, unless maybe if I'm out and about, maybe traveling and doing a hybrid vacation working trip to where maybe I'm spending some time working and I'm potentially on my phone and need to send something out via fax. And this means I can do that. This means I can help stay virtual without having to have my laptop or computer available. So that's pretty cool. That's something that I haven't tested, but I'm sure it works just fine, especially because sending from my computer works seamlessly. We'll talk about that. HumbleFax just goes and straight up calls out some of the biggest names here and differentiates itself with a lot of these perks and benefits. No page limits, like I said, that's a big deal. No setup fees, that's a big deal. Free number transfer, that may be a big deal for you if you do have a separate phone number or fax number that you're wanting to use. End-to-end encryption, I know lawyers, we're a paranoid breed. That's going to be important, so this is fantastic. As a lot of y'all know, I use Google Workspace, and that means I have Google Drive, so everything is saved to my Google Drive. It's just how I stay virtual. So it's good to see that Google Drive syncing is here. Scheduled faxes is actually something that I didn't know they had until right now. And this is actually really cool because sometimes my workflow is like, I want to send something or complete something and then send it later. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hold off on completing it. I think this would be something that I would do for demands if I really wanted to. So yeah, I think I could have a strategy behind this. I'm thinking out loud right now, but something to keep in mind. The spam blocker is pretty cool in concept. I haven't needed it because I don't get spam via fax because I don't share my fax number too often. It's an as needed basis. Please, if you're a marketer watching this, please don't fax me any type of marketing. I don't want it. It's a fast track to go to the spam blocker. I'll show you on how to add numbers to the spam blocker in a second, but bear with me. Custom caller ID, I'll show you that one as well. Multiple recipients per fax. I haven't needed that, but I guess it's a cool concept. And the create contacts list. No, I'll actually show you that. The custom caller ID, it is what it is. That's not really worth wasting your time on. So how it works, they have a quick breakdown. I'll show you how it works from my end. So yeah, relatively straightforward. One thing that's going to be important is, let's just scroll down to this screenshot that they have. So whenever you are creating a fax, you go to compose new fax, and then you type in the number or maybe the name from the contact, and then you drop in the attachment. So I want to make sure we're very clear here. There's no page limit, but there is a file size limit. I don't think you're going to find a single service that doesn't have a file size limit. One of the issues that I was running against with Unitel was Unitel, I think, originally had a 10 megabyte file size limit for faxes that went down to something like 5. I'm going off memory here, but you may want to watch that video because I'm pretty sure I included it in that video. 5 megabytes for a, let's say, fairly large demand isn't going to work. Like, that's just not enough. You're gonna have to either fax multiple faxes and have the recipient piece it together, which is not ideal, or you're gonna have to get them on board with accepting an email, or maybe they have some portal that you can upload something. That was just an issue that I kept running into with Unitel. Now, 50 megabytes, that's a large file. That's a lot larger than what I think a lot of the other competitors were doing, especially because I personally, for my PDF software, use PDF Expert. Our Law Venture is also an affiliate for PDF Expert, so I'll provide a link down below. I've been using PDF Expert since like day one, and I have had no regrets with using PDF Expert. And the reason why I'm talking about PDF Expert now is it has a reduce file size function so that you can choose your options from lossless to high, medium, and low on the quality of how you're going to reduce a file size. And it'll tell you, okay, so file size may be 100 megabytes. And if you want to keep the quality high, but still reduce the size, we can take it from 100 megabytes to maybe 45 megabytes. Or if you want to go from the original quality down to a medium quality, we can take it down to 25 megabytes. Doing that type of optimization on the file size has made this 50 megabyte file size limit a non-issue for me. Again, maybe there's a demand that's just going to be so monstrous that maybe the 50 megabytes is going to be an issue, but if I can send the demand and maybe 2 faxes in that situation, then that's fine. At that point, there's so much documentation, I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue. So all that to say, if you have a good PDF software and you are using HumbleFax, I think you're gonna be just fine with the 50 megabyte file size. So just my 2 cents there. Okay, so we are in the dashboard on my side, and I clicked on this address book. This is something I haven't used yet, but I think it's something that I'm going to spend some time updating because there are basically, I don't know, 5, maybe 7 insurance companies that I work with on a regular basis their fax numbers never change. And so I might as well just throw their fax numbers into this instead of having to pull it up in the file every single time. And that way it just streamlines my workflow a little bit more if I spend the extra time adding them as a contact. So I think this is pretty cool. And then there's also spam filter, which I highlighted earlier. I haven't used it because I do not get spam yet, but I will quick trigger those who are marketers who watch these videos and then reach out to me and then keep reaching out to me and keep reaching out to me in order to sell me whatever. Just don't blow up my law firm fax number. That's all I ask. But if you do have that issue, because I know that stuff leaks out or gets put in some directory, then you can always add the block number here to have the spam. So settings is fantastic. It's where you can incorporate your information and your law firm's information in order to basically automatically generate a cover letter whenever you are composing a new fax. This was another issue that I was having with Unitel. Unitel is basically a drag and drop and send type of service, but whenever you did that, it didn't automatically generate a fax cover letter. So I had to manually within Word using a template, use that template to input everything and then save it as a PDF and then merge that fax cover template PDF with the actual document and the attachments to that document that I wanted to send. It's just a couple extra steps that I didn't necessarily want to keep taking over and over again. It, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I think when you look at it, maybe more on a micro level, it's like, okay, that's not that much time. But whenever you start compounding the amount of work you're doing, it's like, okay, I'm spending way too much time with these extra 2 steps. So all that to say, HumbleFax will automatically pop up a template and automatically send a template based on whatever you include in the details. And I'm a big fan of that service as well. And then within settings, what you can also do is make sure that HumbleFax emails you a copy and confirmation whenever the fax successfully or unsuccessfully goes through. And then you can also link your email to where whenever you receive faxes, it pops up in your email. So you can basically open up a PDF from your email, or if you want to save it to your Google Drive or whatever, you can do just that. For me, my workflow is basically I receive a fax and then it is emailed to me with that PDF. Then I automatically tag it using Google Workspaces or Gmail's search function, and I set up all the tags for that to where it pops up. I archive it, and then it's saved in the client folder. That may or may not make sense, but for those that are using Gmail and Google Drive and Google Workspace, highly recommend that type of workflow. It helps automate things, make life a whole lot easier. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you're interested, let me know in the comment section down below, and I can potentially provide an additional video that walks you through how I do just that. But this is the nitty gritty of HumbleFax. This is it, and this is all it should be, is just simply drag, drop, type in some extra details of who's gonna receive this. You have an option to type in a message, you send it, and then you get the email confirmation of whether it was successful or unsuccessful, and that's it. You don't need a lot of bells and whistles. For $10 a month to be able to, have the hassle-free of not really having to worry about limitations, I think it's totally worth it. So, all this to say, if you are a fan of HumbleFax, I'm gonna plug this in one more time. LawVenture is an affiliate, so be sure to go down in the description, use the link in order to ultimately sign up to become a HumbleFax customer. That'll allow LawVenture to get a small commission at no extra cost for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or if you just want to say hi, leave that in the comment section down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. Doing so allows videos like this to rank higher so we can reach more people and ultimately help more people. That's always the goal. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next video.